Recover. We're going to do the lower body today, kind of a pre-gym workout. So a lot of people get to the gym, they see the foam roller, they get down on the mat, they don't really know what to do, they start watching TV, they zone out. I'm going to give you guys kind of a systematic approach to working your lower body. I have another video for your upper body. So in thinking about rolling the lower body, we're going to start with the feet and we're going to work our way all the way up. And today I'm going to work with a foam roller and a dual ball, also called a peanut ball. You can do the same thing with a single ball, like a lacrosse ball or a tennis ball, but today you can also take two of those balls, put them in a sock and tie them into a knot. But today I'm going to work with the dual ball. I love the dual ball, especially for the lower body. And I have a foam roller. So let's get started. So we're going to start with our feet first. You can do this standing or you can do it sitting. And I'm using the dual ball and I'm just applying pressure with my hands behind my hips. I'm applying pressure and I'm going to internally rotate my leg and externally rotate to get different parts of my foot. So roll, release, recover. We're rolling the muscles using compression on the muscles to increase blood flow and circulation. And this kind of gets things working properly before your workout. This is kind of a pre-workout. We're thinking about what we're trying to do. We're trying to warm up the muscles prior to working out. So this can be in lieu of any pre-dynamic stretching that you might do, because we're going to increase the blood flow. We're going to get the muscles nice and warm. So you want to start with your feet here. Rolling is really good for increasing your performance because you're getting the muscles ready, you're hydrating them, you're warming them up, and it's really good for injury prevention. So what we're going to do is we're going to roll every muscle going up because we want to warm those muscles, getting them ready for your workout. So here's what you want to do on your feet. Then you want to work your way up to the ankle. I really like the dual ball on the ankle. Now I have a bad ankle that's swollen all the time, so don't think that I'm hurt. So I'm applying pressure. How hard amount of pressure do I want to give? You don't want to give so much pressure that you're making a scary face. You're like, oh my God, I'm dying. Because what we want to do is we want to have the muscles actually relax. That's the whole point of what we're doing. We're preparing them for the workout that's coming up. We're also working the connective tissue or the fascia. Fascia responds to slow movements. So we want to hold and give pressure, and we want to think about these muscles releasing. I'm just going to demonstrate with one leg. So we can keep the video nice and short, and you guys can move along at your own pace. So we move from the ankles and we move up to the shin. I really like the dual ball on the shin. I'm lifting my hips, I'm applying pressure, and I'm going to externally rotate my leg and get the outer part of, I'm on my calf. And the outer part, and then I'm on the inside part. We're going to go to the shin next. Like I said, we're working our way up the body. So you can work your calves on the ball. You can also use the single ball, then also use your roller. Cross one leg over the other, lift your hips, and roll. You can make some circles with that bottom ankle. You can lower your hips and just roll and rock and span the muscle from side to side. When you're working your calf, you want to start all the way down at the bottom at the Achilles tendon. We just got that tendon on the dual ball. Then you want to work your way up the calf. I'm pointing, I'm flexing, I'm making circles with my ankle. You want to change the direction because the fascia runs in lots of different directions. Muscle fibers only run in one direction. We want to really try to get as much as we can. I'm working all the way up. I'm going to avoid the back of the knee where the tissue is real thin and there's not a lot of nerves and there's a lot of exposure back there. So we want to stay at the top of the muscle and work our way down. Okay, so from here we're going to go to our shins. So I'm going to spin around. First of all, I'm going to demonstrate on the dual ball. I love the dual ball on the shin because you can take this bone here in the front and you can just put it right in the center of that ball. And I'm on all fours and I'm doing a slow sweep. Now we want to avoid joints. And we want to avoid bones. So I can even go all the way to the top of the foot. It feels so good. Doing a little press and a release. I can also wiggle my knee and wiggle my leg from side to side. I can internally rotate by pointing my toes out and I'm on my right leg, I'm getting to the left of the shin bone. And then I can work the other side and get to the right of the shin bone. You can also use a single ball for this. You can put a ball right in your hand and you can just work that channel and get these muscles that are on either side of the shin bone and just kind of get in there. So how hard do we press? Hard enough where you don't have to make that scary face and you're thinking about just warming up your muscles and relaxing them. We're looking for tender spots, but we're also just looking to warm up those muscles. You only have to do like maybe 8 or 10 passes on each area and then move on. I know you don't want to, it feels good, but you don't want to sit here all day when you're at the gym. You can always come back to this when you're done and do a post-workout recovery with your balls and your foam roller. Okay, so we are working our way up and we're going to work our way back up the leg and we're going to come to the hamstrings. So let's start on the hamstrings on our roller. So my hands are behind, I'm lifting my hips. I'm just spanning from the top of my hamstring to the bottom of my hamstring, avoiding the back of my knees. So I like the roller. You can cross one foot over. You can wiggle yourself from side to side. Got my legs stacked, that's good. You can roll that way. Or you can take your dual ball and you can put it right in the center of that hamstring. And I like to start at the top of the hamstring attachment up by the glute. I'm pressing with my hands to pick my glutes up just a little bit, and I'm sort of wiggling my butt from side to side and just working my way down the hamstring to see what I feel in here. Just trying to get the whole inside of the hamstring. I'm pointing my toes in, outside muscles on the hamstring, pointing my toes out. Feels really good. Another great thing to do is if you have that single ball, get the channel between the hamstring and the IT band. So you're just gonna roll over to one side. You can even do it just with your hands. And you can get in there and roll that channel. We don't roll our IT band. It's just it's a fibrous group of tendons and lots of fascia. And you're better off focusing on your quads and your glutes and your hamstrings. So this is the way we get all the way back through the hamstring. With the single ball, you can also sit on it. You can sit on a bench and you can work cross fiber the hamstring. So I'm just wiggling my butt from left to right and working and massaging that ball right across the hamstring, going all the way down the back of the leg. It feels really good. Okay, so from here we're gonna go to the inner thigh. So I'm gonna use my roller, I'm gonna get on my belly, and I'm gonna make like a number 7 with my leg. My roller is going to be perpendicular to my thigh. So I'm making a cross. Here's my thigh, here's my roller. You can come down onto your forearms, you can stay up on one hand. I'm going to roll from the bottom of the inner thigh, avoiding my knee joint. And I'm going to go up to the top of the inner thigh, but not too close up to the pubis. It's not real good up there, it's very nervy. So you can roll the length of the inner thigh muscle. You can pause and just lift and lower your leg and work your way up that whole inner thigh. You can bend and extend the leg. Just kind of roll. You can really, if you really lift that foot and lower the knee, you're going to get a whole different part of that inner thigh muscle. Feels really good. Remember, no longer than 1 minute on any particular area. It just isn't necessary. Let's switch to the quads. So I'm gonna hop on my roller in a forearm plank, and I'm gonna roll with my toes pointed and my legs about hips width, and I'm going real slow. And I've got my shoulders over my elbows, and I'm just pushing and pulling. This is the length of the quadricep. The other thing you can do is you can, if you find maybe a real sticky spot, you can bring the toes of one foot down and sort of rock the other foot back and forth. You can bicycle out the legs. You can either just compress and hold. We call this pin and drape. You're just draping right on that quadricep muscle You can come up real high by the hip flexor, but we're gonna get the hip flexors with the ball. It's a little bit easier to hit the hip flexor with the double ball. Toes in, heels out. You can roll this way. You're gonna feel a different part of the quadricep. Quadricep, that means there's 4 muscles in there. Heels in, toes out. You're gonna feel a whole different part of the quad there. Bend and extend and just kind of work your way all the way up from the top of the quad down to the bottom of the quad. And again, we're going to avoid the knee area. Okay, so let's work to the hips. Actually, let's do the hip flexor. So I'm gonna grab the peanut ball and I'm gonna put it the top of the quad. And I'm just gonna wiggle my butt from side to side and work that ball up and work it down. I can sort of roll to one side, roll to the other side. You can also do this with a single ball, and that'll get your hip flexor area. It feels good. So we're just warming it up, getting ready for our workout. So let's go to the hip. So you can keep your peanut ball and roll from the hip flexor and roll right over onto the hip. So you want to be above the IT band and below the hip bone. We never want to roll on the hip bone. You can rock back side to side and then go above the hip bone or just behind the hip bone and work that part of the hip there. Once again, avoiding the hip. So that's what you can do with the ball, with a dual ball on the hip. The roller is great for the hip. I'm gonna sit on the roller, bring my hands behind, bring my knees together, and I'm gonna drop my knees over to one side. And I'm gonna roll that hip. It's like I'm rolling the outer glute. My torso and my body are facing towards my bent knees, and I'm just bending and extending my knees. Just a little bit to get into that hip. I can rock and span from side to side. Remember, we're gonna avoid that IT band. If you roll your IT band, it's always just gonna really, really hurt, and you're just not doing anything. You're much better off if you feel like this whole area of your body is super tight and you just can't get the foam roller anywhere near it. Strengthen your glutes. That'll hopefully take some pressure off of that IT band. Glutes and hamstrings and quads, but glutes especially. Okay, so we've got the hip this way. We're gonna go right onto the glute since we're here. So I'm gonna cross my right ankle over my left ankle over my right ankle, or well, I'm doing my right over my left thigh. I'm gonna drop my bent knee over to the side, kind of exposes the glute muscle a little bit better there, and I'm gonna roll from the top of the glute to the bottom of the glute, the top of the glute to the bottom. So you can roll along the glute, you can sweep the leg, you can bend and extend. And so what we're doing is, we're not necessarily looking for trigger points here and trying to work out the trigger points. We're trying to get out of here, get off this mat and get out into the gym and actually do our workout. If you were to come back to these exercises after you worked out, you could look for those trigger points and you could roll more with a thought of more of a recovery in mind rather than a release. When we work on the release part, getting ready to get onto the gym and onto our workout, we're trying to release any toxins from the muscles. We're trying to release blood flow into that muscle to prepare ourselves for the workout. If you're doing it afterwards, you can do this whole routine that we just come up with from our feet all the way up, and you would be looking for trouble spots. You'd be looking for trigger points and actually working and compressing and doing the same thing through those areas. Okay, so we've got the glute on the roller. I did that for a long time. That was feeling really good. I love the ball on the glute. Okay, so I'm gonna track the ball. You can see it, it's right there. It's not on my sit bone. And then I'm going to just roll the glute. I'm pressing with my hands, and I'm kind of lifting my hips and then pressing down and rolling through there. You can drop both glutes down to the mat and just wave that knee out. And keep moving the ball around, whether you're working with a single ball, tennis ball, lacrosse ball, trap it under there. There it is, you can see it. And wave that knee and work the ball into the glute there. You can also lift your hips and just roll around on that single ball. You can do the same thing that I'm doing right now on the wall, trapping the ball on your glute, bending your knees, stepping away from the wall a little bit. So we're gonna roll up the glute. Now you're ready to hit the gym and do your lower body workout. Thanks, check out my other videos. Have a great day.